Welcome into the OBR streaming network. This is All Eyes on Cleveland. 10 more sleeps, says Case. Oh my gosh, we are so close. We can start talking about the Cowboys. We can. You better, and you better be locked in. So, appreciate you joining us here tonight on All Eyes on Cleveland. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on your way in or out. Just takes a second, helps us out tremendously. My name is Brad Ward. The man next to me is Casey Kinnamon. You can follow him on Twitter at Casey_Kinnamon. What's happening, Big Case Dog?
Dude, I finally did it. I finally got the new digs spackled and painted. So I'm starting to move in and actually have an office back. So hopefully I don't have to record from the garage anytime soon. It's too hot for that noise. So feels good though. It feels good to have a place of my own again.
This is the future we're looking at?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Like
it's all painted thunder gray everywhere. I don't have the TV up yet. Still got to get my curtains in. I have some things that have to happen, but this shot right here is what's important.
It's taking shape, and it looks good. What's up to everybody? Jacob, Larry, MC. I saw Drew wearing his OBR hat today on Twitter.
Looks sharp.
Nice.
Looks sharp.
Is that the one he won?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it arrived. The crowd, much better Case, says Fumble.
Thank you.
I like the on-air thing next to you there.
Eventually it's going to be above my door on the outside, but I like the way it looks too, so I might have to get another one just for in here.
Yeah. Jeff W says the A team. You damn right. All right. So, we've got a lot to get to tonight. A lot going on. Browns getting ready for the game, but I want to start, tough day. Case, like serious gut punch. Kind of threw off my day completely. Didn't see it coming. Jim Donovan done. As the Browns, prayers for sure. To him and his family, Fumble. But yeah, Jim Donovan done in the booth for the Browns, and we'll just briefly talk about it. But Casey, 25 years in the booth, the voice of the Browns, and nobody better, man. Nobody better. Not only was he an amazing at calling games and painting the picture for you, but his relationship with the organization and the Browns just made it that much more meaningful to watch, in recent years as they've gotten video up there, to watch him calling games and jumping around in the excitement and the, talk about a genuinely good person. And that cared about his craft and for the people, you know what I mean? And just there's so many things you can say about him. You said it earlier when we were talking about Pharisee. He had leukemia or so. He went cancer free, and to have it come back last year and then again now, and in the letter he wrote, they described it as aggressive, which is, that's not, you don't want to hear, that's a word you don't want to hear with that. And I would just say the thing that I haven't never talked about it really on air before, but I've had cancer 3 times. The first time I had it when I was 18, it was aggressive, right? And but the constant, like, to take the news he got after 10 years of being in remission, right? And to trying to think, I want to word this the right way, and to go through the strength that he had to go through to fight through that, his family rallying around him, the positivity that it takes around you nonstop, right? Like it's just constant positivity. Everybody's rallying for you. It takes a toll on your family. It takes a toll on you physically, mentally. And to overcome that and get back in the booth last year, just to have it turn around and have it come back again now, it's like the word I can't like despair is the word
Yeah.
like because to battle so hard and fight so hard, to get through that, and you're so scared of every appointment you're going to, right? Is like, is this the time they tell me it's that? Is this the time, Um, and I just can't imagine that feeling because I don't feel like he was close to being done if this wasn't the case. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I feel like he had good years left to do this for some time. I mean, the passion he puts behind it. So it really was a gut punch and heartbreaking. And just everybody, if you pray, if you don't pray, have a good thought for his family, send them good vibes or, whatever you do. But pray for him and his family to get through this because he's now fighting a battle that's much more important than any that he's done in his life. And he's overcome it before. So I fully expect him to, you know, bounce back again. But the turnaround on this is heartbreaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For starters, I commend you for, putting your personal stuff out there and sharing with the people. But I think we all know someone who's been affected by this or have lost someone to this, and it's a huge gut punch. And this today was completely left field. It's not that long ago I can remember him ringing the bell for his last chemo treatment and the celebration that came after, and him coming out and smashing the guitar and getting in the booth. And I don't know who else did this, but I didn't listen to the TV broadcast that day. That was on mute. I was listening to Jim. It's just to be facing up that mountain again. I can't imagine what a gargantuan task that looks like to be.
Yeah.
2 words though, man. The voice. He'll be
Yep.
the voice for me forever.
Forever.
I know this organization will do right by him and making sure that his legacy is preserved. And you talked about it, man. It's the passion that he brought to the booth. And it wasn't even the biggest game, and it wasn't even the biggest play. But if you remember that game, it was a Saturday night in Denver, and Julius Peppers comes through and ends the game. And just to see him leaning out, high-fiving fans, and in the moment, pour a little pepper on it, and just all those things that Jim brought, man, he is us. If the Browns are your flavor, man, that's your guy, man. Jim Donovan, Jimmy D. Prayers to his family. It sucks. It beyond sucks. There's not.
I
It took a lot out of me
commend.
to hear it. I can't imagine living through it.
No, and I can't imagine that either. Like to your point, you said mountain. Like that's exactly what you equate it to. It's like you climb up this mountain, and it's like each day you're like, okay, and then days turn into weeks, into months, and you're looking at this goal, and you're like, okay, and you finally achieve it just to have it. Like, okay, you got to start over, and this time it's gonna be harder, right? And it's probably difficult for a lot of people to understand, but I can't even put that fear into words, right? Or
Yeah.
that feeling into words. So my heart goes out to him and his family, and like you said, the voice, and everybody have a good thought for him. And we know that he's strong, and we know that he'll fight. And it just sucks that he has to step away, but he's got a whole city behind him
Mm-hmm.
and a whole organization behind him. So, but yeah, Jimmy Strong, right? So, I'm sure he will come out on top again. But wanted to talk about that off the top, as that sucks, right? It sucks. So, but yeah, okay. This morning, right off the bat, the Browns hop into restructuring Deshaun Watson.
Yep.
Strange timing, a little
Felt
bit.
like it. Felt a little strange.
Yeah, it got everybody into a tizzy on the radio this morning. They're like, Aiyuk, and by the way, Aiyuk signed an extension just a little bit ago with the 49ers.
Finally, that's over. That dude was so exhausting.
Yeah. Has Brandon Aiyuk signed yet.com can shut down and all that stuff. So, so finally that's over with. He gets $30 million a year over 476 guaranteed. Rumors are he got offered a lot more by us. I think that's what they said, right? Did I see that somewhere today?
I mean, I've heard that, but I've also heard the Patriots were the same boat.
32, yeah.
Yeah.
So the restructure, though, but I just wanted to hit on this because a lot of people are like, what does it mean? Why are they doing that? And there's this speculation out there that if you ate the money now, somehow it would affect it. But if you listen to Jack, right, who knows this stuff better than anybody, you have to pay every dollar of this contract anyways.
Guaranteed.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And you would rather pay it 10 times out of 10 in a year where the salary cap is larger.
Yeah. Right. Takes less of a percentage out of your cap.
Yes. So it's all about percentages. And by kicking the can down the road, whether he works out or not, you want to take the hit in a year where the salary cap is bigger. And that's why this has always made sense and why he has been steadfast, he being Jack Duffin, our resident capologist, DWR, that is going to happen. It makes no sense not to do it. So there you have it. And it's done now. And he is restructured. Browns up to 60 million under the cap now.
62, leads the NFL.
Some rollover cap there to help with next year, right? So,
the truth of the matter is, someone's going to get hurt, and you're going to have to sign some mid-level guys throughout the year. It always happens. So you need that cash on hand to be fluent and be able to make moves if they arise. And financially, I understand this makes all the sense in the world because, like you said, it's just an escalating thing. It's always the cap's going to go up, so the percentage is going to be less. The thing that was worrying for me, they actually didn't. I was afraid it was going to put too many voids on the backside. They only had to put one extra void year on to lessen this hit. So that's a win in my mind because it's not the financial side. Barry is a financial wizard. He's on top of it. I'm looking at the emotionality of it because if something happens, I don't think this is going to play out like this, but if it does, and if he just flames out this year and they have to figure out a way to move on, even though you have to pay him all that money, he's still attached to you. You're still going to have to see those damn graphics that he's still under, you know what I mean? And if you think the Mets were happy every year when Bobby Bonilla got paid, you're wrong.
Still paying him.
To still be attached to that contract. So if it's a bad contract, you want to get out of it sooner rather than later. But you only added one void year and you freed up $42 million. So that's me. That's a no-brainer. I don't know how many, because I know there's a limit on how many times you can touch it. So I don't know if he probably won't be eligible for another 2 years. But don't be surprised if it happens again down the line.
No, I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can restructure it every year. Is there a limit? I don't think so. I think they said they were gonna. I don't know. Maybe there is.
I think it's you can't do it back-to-back seasons. We saw it with they've done this with other players where they've taken a break and not did it for a year and then you come back. Now this is a bigger, large contract. This is a large-scale contract, obviously. So there's going to be a lot more attention paid to it. But the bottom line is
every year so far of his deal, right?
I'm not sure. I know.
Yeah.
They've done it. So 3 years in a row, they've done it?
Yep.
Really?
Every year. Yep. And I think they will continue to do it every year, according to Jack. So
it's a credit card. You're just freeing up, you know what I mean? And moving stuff down. I just hope that they can get out of it without adding so many void years that we're not, even though he's long gone and we're not talking about him still being on the books for minimal money, but it'd still be until 2000
The thing is, when he leaves the team, though, Case, it's going to roll up. Those void years roll up into 1 or 2 years. So you're going to pay it out in a bulk sum.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get an extension, say it doesn't work out and he doesn't get an extension, right? And he leaves, that money doesn't stay in void years. It'll roll up into 1, or if it's a post June 1st or however you navigate it, I think you can split it into 2 years at that point. Then it's just the total of all those void years rolled into one number, split over 2 years, and that's what you owe against the cap. But regardless of when that year comes, you want it to be later down the line.
Yeah, of course.
Because of the bit larger cap. So it won't be like Bonilla. So they're not going to pay. They're not going to be off the roster.
That's an extreme case. But
into like 5 years after he's gone. So don't worry about that as much. But the I mean, they're going to do it. They're going to restructure it. It makes the most sense as the cap keeps going up every year. It allows, like you said, it's about a percentage, right? And you want it to count for as little of a percentage of the cap as you can while he's here. If you have to eat it at some point, you eat it, but you'd rather eat it further down the line than right now. Did you see Brendan Rice made the Chargers roster?
No, I mean, I wasn't paying attention, but
he was close. I read somewhere he was like one of the last guys on there. I think that bodes well for my bet. Like, can I get a bet update on the Brendan Rice? Barely makes the team. Makes the team, Case.
Yeah, seventh round pick, Brad. I don't know if you expected it to be something different.
I didn't. That's why I made the bet.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you'd be better off if he hadn't been put on a practice squad. I think you'd
don't matter to me. Point. I'm just saying. I mean, we're talking about this guy like he's going to be something.
Who's we?
Who's
we talking? We weren't talking that.
You you ganged up against me.
Talking with Josh. That ain't gonna do it.
You and Josh ganged up against me on this. You have definitely taken Keatley's side on this. I've seen.
It's a single catch.
It's a single catch. He
won this year, Case. I feel better about it, but it's a single catch, and they don't have a thick wide receiver corp. But look, dude, here's what you do have: Justin Herbert's in a boot. Is Easton Stick going to be completing that ball? Probably not. They passed on our boy.
Get a catch this year.
They got Tyler Heineke. So you got to feel better about that. If it's Justin Herbert, you feel like he could, give him a 19-yard handoff. But
and it's next year, so he's got to make it again next year. I mean, come on,
right? There's no way he'll get better.
One catch fumble, just one catch, buddy.
One catch.
It's quite the bet. So I thought that was worth an update. All right. So roster yeah, of course, always, right? Roster stuff. So we mentioned Aiyuk. I think this is worth mentioning. Jamar Chase is something else, is he not? Boy, what a mess in Cincinnati, and I am loving every minute of it. So the coach said he was going to practice. He didn't. He showed up in street clothes. It made a fool of him pretty much. Here's my thing. I heard Florio talking about this today, and he's like, these guys, if they earn their money, they deserve it to a certain extent, right? Like, we all know that he's worth more than the deal he's going to play on this year. We all know that by far.
Yeah.
But
that's part of being on your rookie contract, man.
That's part of the deal of being on the rookie contract. Like, he's doing it a year early.
That's not. If I'm like for Jamar Chase, it's whatever. It's his agent. I'm like, why are you playing it like this? Look at the landscape. Look at the guys around you. You'll get paid more money later anyway. But all the guys who are in the draft ahead of you are just now getting those deals. Jefferson got it earlier. You got it today. This is all happening now. But you were drafted a year later. Your time is this time next year. It's just go out there and ball out and become undeniable, and then then they'll be forced to open that checkbook for you, man.
I guess I mean, I thought first of all, I didn't think they would give up on the Higgins thing so quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like on trying to sign him, but they were just like not going to be able to do it.
Which,
The
if
way
you're
they
Chase, that's a good thing. You're like, okay, they're saving that
they're
chunk for
saving
me,
it for
man.
me.
Like,
so be cool about it. Like they've already passed on a premier receiver to save money for you, and instead you're going to hold out a year early. I don't get it. It seems super greedy, and it's the wrong front office to do this with.
For sure.
This front office will not, they're going to slow play it. They're going to do everything they can. They're going to pinch every penny that they can on him. It's great. It's terrific.
And for your teammates, man, like
involved.
You guys are going to get off to a offensively, at least speaking, you're going to get off to a slower start. You're just going to, because you're not getting those reps. And I know you're really good. I know your quarterback's really good. You still need to practice, man. And then it's just know that you're talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're going to pay you a year early. Like that was your plan. Yeah, I'm mad at your agent. I'm not mad at you, Chase. You need to fire your agent, though, because you were playing this completely wrong. You were going to get the bag.
Wrong.
You were going to set the record. He would have set the record.
All wrong. Yeah. I don't get it. It's funny as hell, though. I love seeing them in shambles. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish we played him earlier than week 7.
I know. I wish we had him week 1.
Same thing with the Ravens, getting 3 new offensive linemen. Like,
bring them all in here early, right?
Yeah.
We got them all at the end of the season after they're going to have all this stuff straightened out. I guess us too a little, but all right. Other Bengals news. They signed Isaiah Thomas to their practice squad, which was interesting. Freaking traitor. What do you mean, my guy? Traitor.
Man, dude, he was not going to play here. We both know it.
I know.
He's an NFL caliber defensive end, and he had to find a better spot. Now, do I wish it was outside of the division? I do. Because now I got to root against him when he does get on the field, and he will get on the field. He is a talented player, man. And if he were in a weaker defensive end room, he would be a part of the rotation, not just a guy on the end of the roster. So we'll see how it works out there for him.
So why couldn't he catch on someplace like that?
I don't know. He fielded offers, obviously, because he was a guy that was higher in demand. I honestly thought he would get poached. I thought he would be a guy that when he went up for waivers, I mean, I wrote an article stating as much. That's a playable NFL defensive end. So he had offers, including from us. We wanted him back, but I think you look at what's in front of you, and it's like, I'm going to need 2 or 3 injuries just to be active on game day.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of the situation. It's not going to take that much in Cincinnati. They got good pass rushers, but it's not what we have. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just being realistic. And I think he was being realistic. I don't know who else offered him spots on practice squads, though.
Yeah, that's a tough one not to get him back. All right, so let's look at what has happened with the roster today. So they kept Huntley for an extra day. A couple quarterbacks got traded. Huntley gave up on it.
Yeah.
Lost cause. Is he caught on anywhere yet?
Not right before we walked on. I checked out the NFL transactions. Nothing has been official as of yet.
Do you think he'll make
Greg
it
Roman was the hope, man. Greg Roman was the hope.
Yeah.
What were they asking? If they gave a conditional 6 for Taylor Heineke, what was the Browns' asking price? Like, if they weren't, there's no way it was just the 7th or that deal happens, right?
No, I think Heineke's considerably better.
I don't know about considerably. And I'm also leaning on the experience with Greg Roman.
Yeah, I get that, but that's a good point. I think if I was a team, I would much rather have Heineke.
Yeah,
he's kind of a gamer in my book.
Yeah, he definitely fits Harbaugh. Let's be real.
So is Huntley, but I think Heineke's he's tough son. He's a tough son of a gun,
So you'd give up a 6 for him before you'd give up a 7th for Huntley.
I think so. I don't even 6th, 7th. I don't care about the 6th or the 7th, whichever one it is. I'm just saying, give me the better player, whatever that takes.
Yeah.
Obviously, they felt that he was the better player.
Yeah, I'm just leaning in the fact that it's later in camp and you're bringing a guy on who already speaks the language and knows this system to a degree.
That's
That would be a leg up. That would be kind of a separator, but apparently it wasn't. I like Heineke. Like last year when we went through our bullshit, that was a guy on my short list.
I like him too. Yeah. He was a gamer in Washington. All right. So then they bring back Foreman, which was always in the works.
Shocker. Such a shocker.
Shocking.
Who saw that coming?
Yeah, nobody.
So next year we need to do a bet: is who's the veteran who's going to get
who's the designated
the 2-day vacation
vet? To do the gymnastics. And now hopefully they won't always need to do this with the new IR rule. This year it was because of the quarterbacks, but now that you can designate 2 guys for return without having to do that, you shouldn't have to do this as often. Unless you're going to do something like the Browns were doing, like shopping an extra player and keeping him on your roster just to see if you could get something.
But I think that's good process. I think that trying to get a guy who's just that candidate to bring into camp, so hopefully they're in this position again where they have a guy who could be a bargaining chip. Hopefully it just gets done before roster cut down day and you don't have to do that. But if it also just provides you that enough flexibility to get another guy over to, whatever process you need, the IR is a huge thing. Obviously, because of the limited availability in years past, that's what they've been doing. It's more wide open now, which is smart. The NFL does. The NFL hamstrings themselves on some of these little rules, and that's one of them. That makes no sense to me. That's neither here nor there.
Here's my question about the whole thing. Like, okay, so if you get to this point where it's cut down day, and you're going to carry 4 quarterbacks, right? And because you want to move one of them, aren't you already like, nobody around the league is like, oh, they're going to carry all 4 all the way to the season? Don't you just have to wait them out?
Yeah.
Like if you really wanted Huntley and you're like, I don't want to give up a pick for this. Can I just wait 2 more days?
Yeah. And eventually they'll
cut him.
Well, especially if you're on the outside looking in, like, look, guys, they have 4 quarterbacks. They only have 2 running backs.
Right.
This isn't sustainable. So eventually they're going to drop the guy and we'll go get him for whatever. He's a vested vet at this point, so he can choose where he goes. But
I don't know if did you see the React last night?
I saw part of the React last night. I didn't get to see the whole thing.
Did you see the end?
No.
The last video?
No, I saw the beginning.
Dude, Pete had me laughing. I was crying. I was in tears. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. We had a Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show clip up of them talking about the reason why the Browns were carrying 4 quarterbacks, and they were just throwing shit at the wall, making no sense at all. And Pete was getting so mad, and he kind of snapped a little bit and was like, it was priceless. I could not stop laughing. It was great stuff. I advise you go watch it. It was very
we need to clip it up. It needs to get clipped up. That sounds like it was
I guess I don't want to offend anybody from that show because he calls everybody dumb and idiots. So which
I see no issue with that.
Yeah. So but it was priceless, man. It was priceless. It was quite enjoyable. If you haven't seen it, I think most of the chat saw it. So yeah, Jeff W.
Jeff agrees.
Pete snapping was amazing. LOL. Yeah, it was. I went back and looked at the chat afterward. They were all calling me that I'm an instigator, and I do it on purpose to set him off. Maybe a little bit with
a little bit. There's a little bit in there, Brad.
Yeah. There's a little bit there.
A little bit.
It was totally worth it last night. Yeah, it was totally worth it. All right, so if you haven't seen it, go check out last night's React, especially the last part, the last video. You will not regret it. You will laugh. It is very funny.
We should do a react to the react.
Epic form last night. It was too good. Some of the things he said, just
you got
ridiculous.
accused of bringing a gas can just now.
What's that?
You just got accused of bringing a gas can.
I did. I brought a gas can last night. I wasn't trolling him. It was good content to react to, but it was just so the things they were saying were just, oh my God.
We need to react to the react.
Too funny, man. All right, so here's what they've done with the 53 case. Nothing. They've done nothing with it. I don't know why I said it that way. That's not how I meant it. They've done nothing to it. They brought Foreman back and they cut Huntley. That's it. Okay, so the practice squad is what I meant. Okay, so Rex, the long snapper from Bay Village. Bay Village? Local boy.
Yep.
Yeah. He got the heave-ho today. And they got third-round pick. We talked Cameron Latu. He missed all last year. Tight end with the 49ers. Third-round pick. You cut a third-round pick. You added one.
Yeah.
Not bad. I don't know anything about Blake Whitebeard or whatever his name.
Whitehurst. Yeah.
Not Whitebeard. What is it? Whitehead? Whitehurst?
Whitehurst. Blake Whitehurst.
Okay. Is that White Hart? I think it's White
Hart. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I'll learn your name if you do something. You got to do something, and then I'll learn.
Whitebeard. Okay, so Blake White whatever is another tight end who's on the roster, right?
Yeah,
they bring back Mike Ford. They have the best special teams practice squad in the history of the NFL now.
I can't talk about it, Brad.
Why?
Because I don't want to ruin things I think I know.
Okay. What? Okay. Gary Brightwell is the running back. Who's this guy?
I am not familiar with his game. I'll have to offer him a Shaquille O'Neal apology. I'm not familiar with it. I've seen his name. Was surprised. I saw Ladicic Griffin. Look at that. That's solid right there. React.
Well done, Serge.
The repeat.
So it is Whiteheart. Sorry, Whitebeard. Larry, I resemble that. You guys are funny.
So do I, Larry. So do I.
Who the fuck is that guy? I agree. Who is that guy? Who's Gary Brightwell?
I don't know. It sounds made up. When I was looking through all the transactions to see where everybody landed, I was really hoping to see Phoenix Sproles. I was just hoping to see Phoenix Sproles' name. And no one's picked him up on a practice squad. He didn't get an invite.
No boat, some house and boat videos.
House and boat videos, dude.
Yeah, that's his jam. Gary Brightwell. Here he is. What do we know about Gary?
Did he come from Dallas? Is that where he was?
Waived by the Jaguars on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was actually on a Jaguars podcast last night, and he wanted me to know that Dearness Johnson he safely made the cut. So so this guy couldn't beat out Dearness. We know that's what we do know.
So, but that's the guy they chose to bring in instead of.
I saw Michael Carter. I saw Michael Carter on there. I'd have taken
Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, a number of guys, right? So, an interesting choice there.
I do wonder why the team soured on Aiden Robbins getting it, because I figured he would be a perfect practice squad type guy.
Me too.
Showed flashes, looked good catching the football, which was a big surprise for me. Obviously, he's got that thing that you can't coach, that size. So, been interesting to see if they want to develop that, and obviously they passed on it, at least for now.
Another strange one was, where the hell did Tulu Atwell come back from?
I don't know.
Did
It's a
you
great
imagine?
question.
Did you see that one? Or not Atwell, Griffin.
Tulu
Yeah,
Griffin and
there's a Tutu Atwell and a Tulu Griffin. My bad. Tulu Griffin, right? Is that his name?
hold on here.
I think
Is that
I
Ledietrich?
got it. Hold on, I got it right here.
Is that Ledietrich?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's him. Is it?
Well, he was
Yeah,
on
it's
the practice
Griffin.
squad last year. When did he start going by Tulu? And what did I miss?
Well, it's always been Tulu. I know his first
Ledietrich's
name
a
is
cool name.
Dietrich, but his nickname has always been Tulu, even last year, believe it or not.
I may have known that and just pushed it out of the brain.
Yeah. So, but this guy, Kelly's saying he was a good receiver in college.
Mississippi State, right?
Yeah, they love the Mississippi State guys.
That they do.
But I mean, out of all the guys that we had in camp, I mean, I did not expect to see his name again.
Would you have rather had Amarian Brown?
Yes.
I think a lot of people would agree with you.
I would have rather had Brown back. I don't know where he is. Street. I doubt anybody else picked him up. But I thought he was a great project with some good upside.
Exciting. An exciting player.
So because they kept Darden, and they kept your boy, Mikey Trees, and James Prochet. So, and now that you have Tulu back, I don't know. Anyway, so they add 2 tight ends, a running back, Gary Brightwell, and what was the guy's name in what's that movie?
Unnecessary Roughness?
No. What? Show Me the Money.
Rod Tidwell?
Rod Tidwell. Okay. Yeah. Gary Tidwell, Rod's younger brother, makes the team as a running back. So that's what the practice squad looks like. So anything interesting there jump out to you? Cameron Latu is interesting because of his draft pick.
Yeah. I can't pretend to know a lot about him, though. I'm going to have to do a dive on him to know what his strengths and weaknesses are. Interesting that it's not ZMP because I haven't seen his name resurface anywhere yet either.
Very strange, right?
He looked like he was trying to be a perfect practice squad type guy that you could call up if need be for a week or two at a time, But
him, Brown were guys I thought I fully expected to see back on the practice squad. Had good camps, developed, right? Like, so
I think that's the key word of the ZMP. He developed year over year because he's been on the practice squad before, and every time you would see him, he'd be a little better. It's like, are you just want to? He's 25. He played a little bit of college football as a college basketball player. You like that out of tight ends typically, And it looked like the physical part was starting to catch up. We knew he could be a receiving type guy because of his athleticism, but he looked like he was starting to be a better blocker, which is like for a tight end, that's the deal. If you can do both those things, you can stick around in the league for a while.
Central Dog says Latu showed some promise out of UCLA. I thought he played at Alabama, didn't he?
These kids jump around so much.
Yeah, so maybe he played at UCLA. I know he went to Alabama. I thought maybe I'm wrong.
Latu went to UCLA.
Who?
Latu. The Laiatu Latu, the edge rusher with the Colts now, first round pick. He was from UCLA.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a connection there.
But here's the, Kelly Black saying he was talking about Griffin. Now he's a good returner, and I'm going to get to a point here about this. Griffin is a return. How many return specialists do we need?
All of them,
Casey?
dude. All of them. We got 4.
Oh my God.
We got 4 on the practice squad right now today.
What are we talking about? We got James Prochet. He's a return specialist. Darden's a return specialist. I mean, how many of these guys do we need? We don't even have kickoffs anymore. You can have anybody return a kickoff.
When you'd prefer it to be a running back either way.
Sure.
If it's going to work.
Sure. That's fine. They've got somehow, out of all of this, Pierre Strong made the 53.
Yeah.
Somehow. Because apparently, I don't know if what's his name will ever play football again.
I don't know. Dude, when he got signed, he was on Cleveland Browns Daily that day, and the way they were talking, it was like he was already good to go and just waiting for camp to roll around and get it, And then it's just he's never practiced. I don't know what to do there. I don't know what to even think.
Thank you, Alabama. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Jermaine Ifedi, Justin Hardy comes back, Christopher Edmonds, Tony Brown. I mean, we got so many corners. None of them can cover anybody because they're all special teams aces. I don't want to ruin anything for you there, but I mean, that's the first thing I think of is, I mean, why do we need all these special teams players on the practice squad? Like, what if a real player gets hurt? Like, I mean,
would you rather have them be on the active roster?
No, I don't think it. I
don't look, man. You got 3 of them now. I don't think you end up with 3. I don't think all 3 end up sticking around. I think probably Tony Brown be at the end of that. And if you bring someone else in, which I fully expect, if you look at it's weird because I expected 2 receivers on the practice squad. I expected 1 to be a return specialist.
Yeah,
they've doubled that, and you still have an extra receiver.
Tripled. Tripled.
Yeah. You got 3 return receivers, and then Mikey Trees.
Yeah.
I don't know. Although I'll say this, largely out of the 17 people on the practice squad, and it should be mentioned because you're only allowed 16 unless you have someone from the International Pathway Program, which the Browns do, and Roy Mbeketa. But they loaded up on a few positions. We'll see how it shakes out. I think over time, Mbeketa, one of those 2.
I thought it was
like I can spell it. There we go. We'll go with that.
Mbiteka.
Once again, Brad, if he does something worthwhile, I'll learn the name.
Yeah. I
will. I watched him try to get dudes murdered during the preseason. That wasn't worthy of me learning your name.
No, exactly. Yeah. International Pathway Program, free player, right? So
he's a body. He's a body. That's what he does have, by the way. That dude is got an impressive build. He sticks out. His technique lacking, but that's going to happen when you don't grow up playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, Drew, it was a jet ski accident.
Yes.
I don't know.
And we're over a year from that accident, by the way. That was like the middle of last summer.
Yeah. This was off season last year.
Yes. Right? Honestly, when they signed him and he was on CBD that day, like the way it sounded, it was like, all right, we got to do.
He's ready to go.
What it sounded like.
He's ready.
Maybe that's just what I wanted to hear, but I needed a third down back and a guy who could return and do multiple things. And I want to do because I know Stefanski's not going to quit running the damn end around. Put it in someone's hands who can do that. Like I thought that was the guy who could actually do that play for Stefanski and make him happy.
Yeah. So I mean, some curious choices on the practice squad a little bit, but maybe ZMP is the one that's like, and Brown are the 2 that jump out to me. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, my guess is ZMP had a few offers and he was weighing them, and the Browns didn't want to wait around, so they went ahead and took a tight end who took the offer.
Okay, so maybe they get him on here and send Whitebeard looking for his.
Maybe, yeah. You feel like Lawtu's going to stick around just to see what they have in him. Being that he had the pedigree that he did when he came in, so I would guess.
I understood that one, but yeah, I mean ZMP has worked really hard. He's improved. He understands the system. He's been in camp since day one. Why would you bring this stranger named Blake Whitebeard in instead?
It's $1 million question, Brad. My guess is ZMP's fielding offers still. So we'll see. He might land somewhere else. Let's just hope he lands out of the division so I don't have to hate that guy as well.
Yeah. Agreed. So also today, though, but, okay, it's the practice squad. I'm sure they're working it out, whatever. It's a fluid situation. He's always churning the bottom, so it's not final by any stretch of the imagination. Captains today, you get Myles Garrett, you get Denzel Ward. That's a new one, by the way. How about that?
Denzel's never been that guy.
Terrific last name. Love this guy. And he deserves to be a captain. Charlie Hewlett, Batonio, Watson. There's your 5. Fumble, that's me. I'm purposely I like to mess up guys' names on
for people not unaware. That'll be his name his entire time in Cleveland, according to Brad.
Yeah, I like to
lean into
have a little fun with some guys' names every once in a while. So he's officially Whitebeard now. Somebody asked in the chat, who is going to return punts for this team on the 53? Pierce Strong?
I would have him doing punts.
Are they going to have to activate one of their 12 punt returners?
Yeah, dude. I mean, we haven't seen the kid do it because I don't know why, but I'd let Jamari Thrash return punts.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I would do.
I would do that too. It's a great job for him. Well, perfect. Love it. Who else?
Your boy, Elijah Moore. He can do that as well.
He can. I don't want him to do it.
The reason he's the backup, and I got Thrash out there first.
Yeah.
But they'll probably call Prochet up.
He's good at it.
No, that's the one thing you can do. I just can't have you eating a roster spot for the one thing.
Right.
We got to get past it. We got to.
It's crushing that's where I'm at with the whole.
You have capable athletes, dude. Like, get someone else.
Yes, you have to be able to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That helps your all these guys, like Darden, for example. Yes, he's viewed as like a returner, but he's an aspiring receiver. And in a bind, he could play receiver for you, and he can kind of get open. He played receiver for the Bucs for a year and was kind of productive.
He was a 3rd-round pick, wasn't he?
Yeah. So that's the kind of guy. Okay, I can put him on my 53. He can be a special teams ace and get really good at it, but he also provides some value. These corners that can't guard a door that are special teams aces have no value to me, man. They have no value to me at all. Great, get really good at it, but also you have to be able to cover somebody, because I can't keep you on my 53 too often. And Quincy pointed this out in an episode of Things I Think I Know. Too often, it's not even game to game. It's snap to snap, series to series, where somebody's in the tent, somebody else got a leg straight, and all of a sudden you're quickly into your depth. And, Mike Ford is out there trying to cover somebody, and it's a touchdown. Odell Beckham is scoring his only touchdown of the season because he got lined up across from Mike Ford randomly.
Yeah.
I can't keep these guys, Case. I can't do it.
Well, I don't think they can either. It's using their own practice squads now instead of active rosters. But you're still going to have to deal with that every now and again. It'll be matchup dependent. But to your point, a player who was on the active 53 who didn't dress that day was Khalif Halassi. He didn't dress that day because they needed that spot for Mike Ford.
Insanity.
You're not going to run out of that. That's going to keep happening.
Insanity. That's got to stop. That's got to stop around the league. What's the spread? I know it was moving. I was looking at this today, by the way, Drew. Did you see the bet I hit the other night?
Yeah, the one you posted,
Yeah.
3-piece.
Yeah. How random was that? That was all in one. That was all in one game, bro.
Yeah.
That was the late game.
Got to be
Three
real
home
quick turn.
run parlay.
Respect it though. You're betting for exciting shit to happen.
Oh, I love betting dingers. I love it. I play them every day. Round robin though. So if you get 2 out of 3, you still get paid. You know what I mean? Anyways, where's this game at? Here it is. Holy crap. I think Colorado probably covers.
What's the spread?
11 and a half.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I would take Colorado. Yeah, we do have a captive audience. It's us and Howard Rutgers game. We win. Thank you, Fumble.
I'd probably have that on the background if I had my TV up here.
Yeah, for sure. Football is football at this point. Okay. Let's talk Cowboys for a minute here. Okay.
How about them boys? Let's do it.
Week 1 opponent. 4:30 in Cleveland next week. Brady's on the call in the booth. Did you see today? I don't know if you saw this, but because he has part ownership in the Raiders,
yeah,
he has like limited access to like what a normal reporter would have. I think like they come meet with the players each week and the coaches. He's like limited access because he has an ownership stake in a team. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. And I can't in memory. Obviously, these players have allegiances through other coaches, through everyone else. So you would think that that's always in the back of someone's mind if someone used to play for a certain team and they have an opposing coach who's going up against that team and you're interviewing them. There could be some things, and I'm sure things have been slithered along the way. But when you have ownership stake in a team, like that's a clear conflict of interest. Even though
it is.
If it's minor, but on paper, you're part owner of the Las Vegas Raiders.
So weird. Like, why the Raiders?
That's a great question.
Raiders?
It's a great question. They were looking for investors when they moved to Vegas. It was an opportunity for him to slide in there. But you think that opportunity would always be there for you and you could do it after playing? He made some, I don't know if you know about Tom Brady. He made some pretty crazy investments in the last few years.
He was trying to cook up some schemes late in his career. He was like really pulling some backroom shady deals, trying to figure
cost the Dolphins a first-round pick. No one ever talks about it. Never gets talked about.
Never brought up.
He's had. Has any other player in NFL history ever caused 2 different franchises to lose a first-round pick?
He is a one colluding mother.
And so I don't want him interviewing my players if they're playing the Raiders.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you want that?
No, he's all in on collusion. He might bug you or something like that, and send you back in the locker room.
Deflate your balls. You never know.
You never know. He's a cheater. All right, so Brady's on the call. Before we get to the game, what do you expect from him as an announcer?
I don't know, man. Part of me thinks he's a fake human. No, I saw a different part of his personality once he went to Tampa. But for years, he was literally a robot to me. And I think he was just going to say what he thought he was supposed to say. Does that happen as an announcer? Is he trying to appease both sides of fan bases? Is he not trying to tell the truth on players as opposed to just do players speak, So I don't know. Do we get a genuine Tom Brady?
Yeah.
That's the question.
He strikes me. I don't think he's the kind of guy that would hold back. I don't think he's afraid to hurt anybody's feelings. I think his ego won't allow him to like not say something he feels about a player. So I don't worry about that. You think that's an issue?
I think he's going to try to pander.
You do.
I feel, and not just to protect people's feelings, but like just both fan bases try to play it even straight down the line and not really get too far one way or the other. Look, I've heard him be candid, and I would take that version. If you can get candid Tom Brady just to be shooting from the hip, maybe get him a little loose like Romo gets, you know what I mean? But I don't know if we'll get that.
But
Especially
Romo,
his first one, like his very first one, he's probably going to just stick to the script and just probably, I mean, honestly, he's probably going to be a little nervous.
no, he's going to be certainly nervous. Who do you think's going to take over for Jim?
Spiro? I don't know. I don't know who they have next in line for that.
I think it will be. He's a Cleveland guy. He works for NFL Network.
Andrew Siciliano.
No, he just did the preseason. Kind of a baseball guy. He did it a couple times with Zagura.
Chris Rose.
Chris Rose.
Okay.
Him or the other guy you just said.
Siciliano.
Siciliano is better than Rose, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
but
funny,
those are some guys.
They all have Cleveland ties, though.
Yeah, but that's probably what they want. Yeah, Serge says I like Zagura and Siciliano. Me too. I think that would probably be the best way to go. Siciliano. Drew said he wants Garage Beer's Mike on the call personally.
Dude, Mike's got that $1 million voice. He could do it.
He does?
Mike's voice, perfect for announcing.
I've never heard him call. Oh, he does call play-by-play.
Mm-hmm.
On the radio. High school football. My bad.
Yeah, Paul Kills actually called a game with Zagura. Someone put that in the chat as well. Kills has that perfect baritone.
Pete Smith, sure. Joe Thomas won't do it. He's coaching in Germany, loving it. Interesting.
Do you think he ever returns to coach in the NFL? If you think he's catching the coaching bug over in Germany, honing his craft, do you think he comes back?
I'm sorry, I missed that. I thought that was too funny. We found Mike's burner. Serge is on one tonight.
Yeah.
What now?
Do you think that Joe ever returns to the States to coach football? Like he's
Andrew is Fumble talking about?
Siciliano, maybe?
Oh, are you talking about Siciliano? Fumble? Let me know in the chat. Will he come back and coach in the NFL is your question?
Yeah, Joe. Because for years they asked him, because there's always like, it's the most Cleveland thing to do when a former All-Pro or someone just beloved retires. It's like, oh, make him the OC or make him the, and I know like when it's like, oh, make him the offensive line coach. It's like, he don't want to do all that. He's doing the media game now, but now he's actually into coaching. He's over in Germany coaching right now as we speak. So do you think that he's caught the coaching bug? And if so, do you think that would lead him back to coaching?
I don't know. He's been weird about it because he's he's been on Browns Daily.
Mm-hmm.
He checks in with them every once in a while. And he talks about it and how much he's loving it over there and stuff. And I know his kids came back to start school and stuff, and he's still over there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if his next step would be the NFL. I don't know. I think he enjoys the raw football aspect of just the. I don't think he likes the
coaching guys up, not
he likes coaching players and teaching them how to play the game and not all the other crap that comes with probably being an NFL.
Which you have to do in the States. The football,
dealing with prima donnas and that's my
I just didn't
thought.
think I would ever see him coach at all. This is the way I hear him talk about it. And you have small kids. If you want to see them grow up, being an NFL coach probably isn't
Good luck.
in your best interest, See you in March.
But maybe, I mean, if he's willing to do it, he can have Puffy's job, in my opinion.
Dude, if you put a poll up right now, 99% of people would give him that job right now.
He can have it right now. I mean, I don't care. They're getting ready for week 1. He can have it right now. If it was my call.
Kick step right in.
Thank you, Puffy. Appreciate your time here, but there's a legend here who, when you hear him talk about playing offensive line, like studied the minutest of details.
He is walking teach tape. If you're looking at left tackles, his kick step is identical every time. Like, you're talking about repetition, being the same guy, never being off balance, perfect footwork, like, and being a monster, by the way. Like, yes, absolute teach tape. Joe Thomas is the epitome of it.
He's Drew saying he said maybe after his kids were grown.
They're still pretty young.
Yeah, they're very young. There's some beasts, though, from what he says. So maybe they'll come play for the Browns.
Hold out hope.
Yep. All right. So Dalvin Cook signs with Cowboys.
Yeah, just give them the Lombardi ring now.
And they have Zeke. So they have like the best running back room in the entire NFL circa 2015.
Yeah, deadly.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cook was in the league in 15, but I'll agree with you. Yeah.
He wasn't?
I don't believe so.
Okay. What? 18, sorry.
Yeah. I think Cook was a 17 guy. But yeah. I'm curious. It's curious. Also, is like, I watched Dalvin play for 2 teams that he did make a difference for last year. So there's that. So it's tough to, because I seen the way I saw it framed when they announced he signed was like marquee signing. It's like, I watched you play for 2 teams and you didn't matter in 1 year. So it's hard for me to believe that it's all of a sudden going to matter just because you're in Dallas.
So
and I would, out of the, like, I like Zeke. Zeke's a perfect example of, that's a guy who's a perfect role player, short yardage, third down, can block his ass off. I see a role for Zeke, not a lead back, but a role. I like Rico Dowdle. I like the other guy they got.
You like Dowdle.
If he gets pushed out of the shuffle for Cook, man, that's negligence.
Well, the thing is, they have a pretty good offensive line, right? Mm-hmm. Run blocking wise. So you just need somebody that can run through the hole. You don't need a special back necessarily. They do have a rookie left tackle, to Serge's point.
Tyler Guyton. Welcome to the league.
Is going to have to deal with Miles all day.
Yeah, Ike Ekwonu part 2.
Their wide receiver core goes CD. And then, what's the short little guy's name?
Jalen Tolbert?
No. He's a 1,000-yard guy every year.
No, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Then Jalen Tolbert. And they cut Racy McMath, the coolest name. They cut him. So he's not going to be there. I think he's a practice squad guy now. We didn't talk about Deuce Vaughn. That'll be fun. Watch the world's smallest running back.
Deuce Vaughn. Jake Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson, that's a problem. Ferguson could be a problem.
107. I was looking at his stats yesterday because we were talking about him on the React a little bit. Because Sam Monson was talking, and them were talking about how Delpit's their new tight end eraser in the NFL. And we were talking about how he's got a tough job week 1 then if they're going to use him that way, right, with Ferguson. But he had like 107 targets or something absurd. Like they used him a ton last year.
They've always used their tight ends a ton. That's a staple year in, year out. That's just who the guy is. Now it was Dalton Schultz. For years it was Witten, I do agree to a degree of that, though. Like, if teams try to get slick, you'll see Buffalo do it a lot this year, where they'll put Dalton Kincaid in the slot and run that power slot. I think Delpit's a perfect person to come down and erase that shit.
Yeah.
Now, if he's the inline guy, I don't know because it's a little different. It's the alignment wise, and you might need a linebacker, but you have two really fast linebackers that I wouldn't be mad if that's what they were doing. So I think you're okay.
Did shut down Kittle and Mark Andrews last year. So I mean, he can do it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's the prime candidate if you can free him up, and it just depends on safety help. You literally, as long as you're healthy with McLeod and Thornhill and Hickman, and however you want to rotate him, but if enough to free up Delpit to be that X factor player where you can walk him down the box and let him, because Ferguson's one week 2, you got Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's is more that power slot guy. Yep. So that there's going to be kind of room to experiment and see how you want to handle these big tight ends.
So defensively, how do you want to handle the wide receivers? Do you want Ward on CD?
CD ran most of his routes from the slot last year, man.
Huh?
CD ran most of his routes from the slot last year. Oh, will that change?
Really?
I don't know. That's what he did last year. That was the move.
Tolbert seems like more of a slot, doesn't he?
Yeah, but that's not. Also that's the different offensive coordinator. Or hold on, who took over last year? Who's their OC? Who did they get after they moved on from the kids?
His name is escaping me right now. I know who he is. Young guy.
I'm running through my head. Either way, I think they have the same offensive coordinator coming back. CD did get most of his reps from the slot, so that's the reason it makes me nervous for Greg in his first game back. Like, oh, here's CD Lamb in the slot with the entire field available to him. Best of luck. It's
Brian Schottenheimer.
No, it was shot last year. Yeah. They moved on from the Golden Boy.
I wouldn't have believed you if you told me he got most of his reps from the slot last year. So you think it's going to be Newsome? Browns won't.
They don't travel. They haven't. I'm not saying they won't. I'm saying if we're basing it on what we've seen of last year's defense, they just split it right and left, man. And I would like to see more traveling because you have you have mismatches at cornerback. So if
basketball team.
Yeah, you got a big long guy who likes to make contested catches, give me Emerson on him. And then if you got the little speedy guy, speed demon, put Denzel on him.
Especially if you're playing man, right?
Yes,
if you're in man, you gotta, So
this has nothing to do with overall team success. But if you're Denzel Ward and you want the credit you deserve, you be a guy that travels. You be a guy who's your one. And then I'm in your hip pocket. That's how we view that nationally, not us because we see every game, but nationally when they find out your guy doesn't just automatically he's on the other team's best receiver, they just kind of downgrade you a bit.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I think either guy can hold their own with him.
Yeah.
I mean, CD, don't get me wrong, CD's going to get his. He's one of the best in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think both guys can do good enough job against him. The other one can do a fine job against Cooks.
If we're telling me those are my two options, I'm putting Emerson on CD, though.
Me too.
And then
he's so long.
Denzel matches up better against Cooks.
Yeah. Speed. And then Newsome. Is Newsome going to be able to play week 1, you think?
I don't know. I am flabbergasted that he's back in practice right now. So,
yeah, I think I whiffed on that one. I mean,
well, until he plays, we don't know until we see what it is,
Yeah, but just the fact that he's back at practice is.
Yeah, no, it's we've dude. I'm before we talk to the doctor.
You sat here and talked to the doc. I mean,
yeah, and before we talk to the doctor, I just know there's no non-invasive hamstring surgeries. That isn't a thing. Like you had to have some serious trauma in order to undergo surgery for your hamstring. So,
somebody in the chat the other night said it was his choice. So I'm wondering if maybe it was a very a
minor tear.
Very minor injury, or he had some scar tissue in there or something that just needed cleaned up, and it wasn't the tear that typically is associated with hamstring surgery that we immediately assumed it was, because by everything we read and from what the doctor said, if you're having surgery on your hamstring, the only reason for it is because it's torn.
It's tore, yeah. It's torn from one of the insertion points.
But if, like, say he had like anything, and they're like, well, we could go in there.
Hamstring surgery.
Yeah. I don't know, but medicine's getting so advanced. Like,
yeah,
maybe they're like, if you want, we can go in there, and do this, and it'll help your recovery time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, let's do that. So
straight fumble.
Yeah. Jacob says, boys, there's football on right now. Yeah. We're aware. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, Jacob?
I can't grow a TV.
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Okay. So that's how you want to line it up defensively. What other matchups? Flip side of the ball. Their defense is good. They're good.
They're good, but it's a question mark because now it's led by Zimmer instead of Quinn. So we'll see how much that changes how they utilize their personnel. But if you're just talking about their personnel, they're straight. They're good.
They lost Jerron Bland, though.
That's a huge hit. And they didn't re-sign Stephen Gilmore, who played decent when he went there last year, obviously, and they get Diggs back, which was the huge thing, because then they would have Diggs and Bland. So that's when it was like, oh shit, that's a legit cornerback room right there.
No doubt.
And then Bland's, it's crazy too, because let's just juxtapose those with our own corners. So Emerson held opposing quarterbacks to a 48.6 rating when targeted, gave up 0 touchdowns. He had 4 interceptions. Bland gave up like 4 touchdowns, but he scored 5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Scored 5. He had 9 picks and scored 5. So he was more of a feast or famine guy, but he feasted enough that it's an issue if you got to throw at that dude too many times.
I mean, Diggs did the same thing like the year before, right?
Very, very. They gamble. Will they still gamble? Will they still have the latitude to gamble as much under Zim?
With Zimmer. Stefanski knows Zimmer.
I know. To me,
so well.
It was some rhetoric that was going on when they said Tom Brady's going to call the game. And they're talking about Tom Brady. And they were like, it's going to be crazy here in Brady in the booth because he's going to know more about Zimmer's defense than Cleveland's coaches. And it's like, the hell? But literally, Stefanski was in Zimmer's hip pocket for years. He knows that inside and out.
Yeah.
And then with Cleveland bringing in all these new offensive minds, he's not going to know Stefanski in the same way that he knows Zimmer.
Yeah.
You would at least think in theory.
Yeah, man. I thought it was a weird hire for their DC.
I think McCarthy's just leaning on experience.
I think he's like, we got all this talent. There's been no discipline. We need more discipline. They gamble too much. They do all that stuff too much. They give up big plays, but they're low. I mean, they've been one of the best defenses in the league. Talent-wise, they've played that way. But I think part of that result is the way they've gambled. Like, that's part of their result is they've been able to score touchdowns on defense a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know what it looks like under Zimmer. I mean, theoretically, we know what it's going to look like because we know who Zimmer is, right? Mm-hmm. But are they going to be more disciplined?
And that takes away from how dangerous they are. If it plays, but
I mean, Zimmer's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He's still going to bring pressure, and he's very good at disguising it. And but I mean, if anybody in the world calling plays or anybody in the NFL calling plays across from him would be able to know or kind of be able to expect maybe a little bit of tendency from him, it would be the guy that's going to be across from him in week 1.
Especially after you get past the first, second quarter, when you've seen these looks a few times, so you kind of get an idea for how they're handling your personnel and what the pivot should be.
Yeah, I mean, guys always are going to go. I mean, they have things that they never get too far away from. As much as they even think they are getting away from them, they still have tendencies, regardless of if they're aware of it or not. It's why you do a self scout so often, right?
Yep.
Because you don't see it coming, you don't see it yourself. I mean, Stefanski should be a bright enough guy to be able to kind of see some of this. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, me and you both, brother.
Yeah. I did not know that either, Jacob. Pat Shurmur is the new OC at Colorado. Wow. I had no idea. I know Warren Sapp took a job on the defensive line.
Yeah. I can't imagine Shurmur and Prime having a conversation.
Yeah, that's like,
that
would be so weird, right?
It doesn't seem right to me.
It's like Gumby talking to, I don't know, something. Shurmur always struck me as like Gumby. No?
Yeah. I never associate with Gumby, but God, that just bland. Dude, that guy.
Or I don't know why Gumby, like, I don't know. He just looked like he was about ready to fall over all the time or like melt into like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like he's like made of no substance at all. That swift wind would just knock him right over.
Out of that era, he was the only coach that I was like, finally, we moved on from him. Like most of those guys, like Chud, I wanted to see get another crack at it. You know what I mean? But when they finally relieved Shurmur of his duties, I was like, thank Jesus. That was
Shurmur went on. He had good year in Minnesota, right? Didn't he have a really good year in Minnesota or was that in New York? Where did he have the really good year?
He was an OC. He was the head coach in New York, and they did not have a really good year. He's been an OC a few places.
But before he got the head coaching job, his second go around is a head coaching job.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was probably Minnesota, if I had to guess.
I think it was before Stefanski, I think.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. How does Pat Shurmur get 2 head coaching opportunities in the NFL, though? That is
because he went and he coached and he ran they had one of the best offenses in the NFL. So, and he was the OC and they were like, wow, that's how you do it. That's how everybody, it's an old boys club. That's how everybody keeps getting.
And he's Fritz Shurmur's nephew. Like there's things in there, but it's, to me, I need to hear you talk to your players. I need to hear how you communicate with other men. Are you a leader of men? Because if not, I don't give a shit about your offense. I can get someone to run an offense. You know, like, can you lead a group? Do people give a shit when you talk? Because if there's no buy-in, then what are we doing here? And I can't imagine people buying into Shurmur. I'm not trying to have him catch strays. Good luck in Colorado, but I don't. Yeah. I don't know. Like, you're right though. The old boys club, man.
Yep. If you do well, you get second and third chances. Like you know, at some point you just got to be like, that guy's a good OC.
Yeah, and you see that with DCs all the time, where they'll get an opportunity to head coach, doesn't work out, and they just go back to being lifelong DCs.
Yep. Yeah. But some DCs do the same thing. Old boys club, they'll get 3-4 chances.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
How many head coaching jobs has Romeo Crennel had?
3. Right? Yeah. Us, Kansas City, and then
Is that
Houston.
Justified? I don't think so.
No, but the one in Kansas City, he was an interim, and then they fired Todd Haley, and then he was just the guy, and the players loved him. I think players love Romeo Crennel. You know, old Pappy looked like he was falling asleep on the sidelines.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think Shurmur has a good football offensive mind.
Got good acumen, yeah.
I think he knows how to run an offense. I think he understands all that stuff really well. But I just don't think he's a leader of men, to your point.
Yeah.
So he'll probably do reasonably well in Colorado until they start playing teams that of their own caliber, and then they're going to get smoked again like last year. But
Well, I saw the thing. I think Ohio State maybe had, was it 7 players from the portal this year? And I think the number was in the high 40s maybe for Colorado.
yeah,
Just massive turnover.
They're trying to do it like that, and it's not going to work. Like, it's going to be same result as last year. They'll win a couple games against teams, here and there. But when they have to play real football teams, they are going to lose.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, in my opinion.
I was alone on this early in the process, man. I was out on Prime, and there was one story where he brought
very surface level, Casey. All that is very surface level stuff.
Yeah,
cameras on.
He was telling a story about one of his players whose dad was in prison. He told me about this. He told everybody about this pep talk he gave this player about his dad watching from prison and make his dad proud. It's like, if that happened, okay, cool. You don't need to tell us that. We don't need to know that. That's between you and that player. That's real coach shit. Don't tell me how great you are. You show me by winning. But if that conversation actually happened between you and that kid, unless that kid told you that he wants you to tell the world about his dad being in prison because he gave the player's name and everything, to me, it's just grandstanding. And then I can't respect that.
It's Prime. He's going to grandstand everywhere he goes. That's all he does is grandstand. That's why they have a camera on everything they've done. He does everywhere he goes because it's all grandstanding. It's very surface level. He generated a lot of buzz last year, got a lot of support behind the program. Of course, it's Prime, right? He's a very charismatic guy. He got them to believe, wearing the sunglasses. They got them to believe. They pulled an upset, won a couple close games early, but when they played real football teams,
Oregon waxed that ass.
Their ass beat.
Yeah.
Same will happen this year. You can't just ship kids out and in to your 30 kids from the portal.
I thought it was more than that, but yeah, it was ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount.
That's absurd.
Turnover. Yeah.
That's absurd. That's just trying to, I don't even know. That's trying to it's trying to insta make a program.
Jump
make a program over years, right? Yeah.
And he should have no problem recruiting.
He shouldn't.
Build your own team instead of trying to assemble the Globetrotters.
Do you think he is lining himself up to try to be the next Dallas Cowboys head coach?
Woo! Could he say no to that limelight? I don't know if he can. Is he going to make it a package deal? They got to take Shedeur with him?
Probably.
Could you put it past him? I can't. So, yeah, no, I don't know.
Can't you see them being like, okay, we'll take Shedeur. Well, even if it's, but McCarthy isn't going to last that long there.
Yeah. No,
hot seat.
There's a world where they make the playoffs and lose in the first round. He gets canned.
He's not building.
They could have success. They could have success and he gets fired. That's where he's.
Yeah.
I agree.
He's also at the same time, Deion Prime is not building for longevity in Colorado.
No, he's not here
at all.
He's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time.
It's a flash in the bucket, in the pan, and he's trying to make it burn.
I've heard Prime dress down some of those college kids, and that shit will get your ass beat in the NFL. They don't care. Those kids didn't watch your highlights. They're not going to worship the ground you walk on. They're grown men. You start talking to them like that, someone's going to pull your card.
So, but he played in the NFL. Does he know well enough to change that?
I don't know. His ego is massive, dude. I don't know. He's gotten away with everything throughout life. I don't know what's going to stop him from
the next. That they would hire him though.
Yeah. Yeah. The ghost of Jerry Jones. Jerry's not even running that team, but
he's talking today, all kinds of nonsense.
Dude, they need to lock that dude away. He's a detriment at this point.
I think who was it? I don't know. I forget who said it, but they were maybe it was Dak. He had a comment like something like, I'm learning to not like trust or listen to the things that Jerry says. So basically, like for the first time in NFL history, I heard Floria's talking about this. The player was like, I'm learning to tune out my owner.
You have to. Yeah.
I have to do it.
And he's not making the shots, dude. Steven, his son's doing most of everything, and then they have another football operations guy. He's super well paid, so he's not leaving. But everyone just assumes Jerry's still running the show. Dude, Jerry's older than Joe Biden. Like that's
Why
the
is
thing
he
that's
talking
happening.
every day though,
Because
Case?
people keep putting mics in. I'm telling you, if I'm Steven, I'm walking that dude away. The dudes from the
Talking
Ringer.
like he's in charge.
Oh yeah, of course. He's Jerry Jones. The guys from the Ringer Fantasy Football Podcast said that they should build like how in Ocean's 11 they built like a fake vault. They should build like a fake office and put Jerry in that, and he thinks he's running the shit, and then just keep him away from operations.
Absolutely. Give him some fake levers.
Yeah, let him. Yeah, let him sign fake contracts. Whatever you got to do.
Jerry, we need you to sign these contracts. Okay.
I can't explain this, but for whatever reason, Jerry Jones has always reminded me of Skeletor.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
He's becoming the Crypt Keeper at this point.
Mm-hmm. We're all in this year. They're all in.
And then do nothing.
Do not one thing.
Dalvin
Cook.
And they're still crazy as the NFC's down enough that they're still going to be very competitive, and they're probably still going to the playoffs. But like they didn't
win
do
like
shit.
12 games.
All in, you didn't do shit. You almost didn't pay your guys.
I know. So what's San Francisco going to do about their left tackle now?
I don't know. I haven't paid close enough attention to know who's been taking those reps in his absence.
I feel like that would have been the priority over Aiyuk for me if I was San Francisco.
Yeah, because you got enough playmakers to make things happen. You can't just manufacture a Trent Williams. You know, unless Kittle's not going out on routes anymore, and you're just going to hang out on that hip pocket and chip all day long. I don't know. That's their problems. I can't worry about San Francisco's problems. They're going to be fine, though. I still expect them to be the number one seed over there.
You feel good about week 1?
Yeah, I feel good. Here's the reasons. It's at home and our defense. Our defense at home. That recipe right there. It seems like it's – and you got Guyton getting his first start ever with Myles Garrett across from him. They're going to play dink and dunk. You make your tackles in that game, you're getting off the field. They're not going to have time to take shots.
I think our defense matches up really well with what they do.
Mm-hmm.
If you can guard against big plays, I think they can win pretty handily. Not handily, but like
not a nail biter.
The thing is, like the biggest thing, and I don't want to ruin my thing. I think I know.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is people's questions about the Browns offense, right? People are now like Browns. This is the last topic I want to hit on the show tonight. Browns fans seem down.
Yeah.
Do they not?
Yeah. It started at joint practices. Before the joint practices, we weren't hearing any of this. It's coming out of those joint practices. It was a lot of negative talk surrounding the offense.
The offense and Watson, right? And we've heard this from multiple sources, but we've also heard a couple. Who was it? Palmer? Just somebody just came out and said that they thought he looked great when they saw him.
Yeah, probably depends on what day you were there, though.
Yeah. You know? There was only like 3 days where they were all together.
That's a huge part. You got to time on task, man.
But now, though, they are all together, and for me, it's like I don't want to ruin this, but I saw in the preseason the makings of what, like, the makings of a very good passing offense. Like, in the preseason, no matter who was quarterback,
receivers were open.
Wide receivers were open
in space
all
below
the time.
Yeah.
And they were going from like Winston was under center, traditional Stefanski play action from under center. And then there was little RPO stuff. And then there was, the play that the first Michael Woods touchdown where he motioned from the left side to the right side just to run the mesh back to the right side. I mean, great play design. Love it. Out of the gun. More motion at the line of scrimmage or at the snap. I liked it. Real subtle motion, Thrash taking like 3 steps. All this stuff marries into the choice routes, out leveraging guys, stuff that they weren't doing last year that I think Dorsey probably brings to the table, but also with the Stefanski stuff that still works. Like I saw it in the preseason, not with Watson, 3 different quarterbacks between the 20s.
That's the X factor.
Right. Between the 20s, they moved the ball at will. Every receiver looked fantastic. They were always open. So am very intrigued by that. The question is, can Deshaun make it work? And he absolutely should be able to.
Yeah, I disagree with zero what you said. I will say that the first 2 preseason games didn't show me much of what the offense would be from an alignment perspective. It was pretty vanilla, but we started to see the bones of the offense in that 3rd preseason game. And there's the variation because they've been under center a lot more than I thought they'd be in general in the preseason, but none of that is with Deshaun Watson. So it's tough to say what that's going to look like, how if they're going to live more in the shotgun sets, which I think they should. I watched every snap he took in Houston, man, when he was super successful, dude. He was living in shotgun, viewing the field that way. He could have a running back on his hip. He can run the RPO stuff, but it's a lot of reactive stuff. So, and that's all we keep hearing is that's what they're trying to install and ingrain in this offense. Is it be a reactive type offense to where if the receivers and the quarterback are on the same page, you're going to have people open. And I like the receiving core. I like this receiving core a great deal.
So I think one of the biggest advantages to your point there, what you're talking about, one of the biggest advantages that they will get is going from training camp where you're taking this, that, the other, you're just seeing what works. You've got
throwing at the wall.
Right. And to game plan for Dallas. How do you exploit this defense? What are we going to do this week? It focuses things enough to be able for them to say, here's the play sheet for this week. This is what we expect. This is what you need to do. And that's what I think Stefanski excels at, Dorsey as well. So I think like that, doing that a couple game weeks and then executing that will give them an identity on offense.
Yeah.
And it'll start to take form.
They build the foundation to the offense and then they can build on it week over week by adding new stuff. Yeah.
These first 2 weeks, these first 8 quarters, right, are going to feel a little like preseason.
Yeah. But that's every NFL team.
But they should be able to do it. Like Stefanski should be able to do enough with the talent they have to scheme enough up, put Watson in enough positive situations to make throws, to put points on the board. The defense should be good enough for them to win this game. Yeah. I feel like it. At home, absolutely. But you got to come out of the first 2 weeks 1-1 at the worst.
Yeah, my expectations 2-0. I might be a little lofty, but I expect them to win both those games. And I think that the first week just as an overview, the first week is about you finding easy answers for Watson. You let him get those easy completions. You can win that game horizontally. I don't care. I don't need it to be all wide open offense, but find easy answers, get him in a rhythm, get him playing, get him out of his head, just get him in the flow of the game, being a point guard because you got the players around you to do all the heavy lifting, feed in Joku, make it as simple as you possibly can and let things grow over time. Don't have some just immediate escalation to where you're just running out there 5 wide, you know what I mean? And just let it build upon itself because he didn't get any reps.
Yeah.
Not that those reps would have meant anything to me anyway because of the preseason. And no matter how good he would have done or how bad, it would have still been like, well, let me see it in the regular season. So we're here now. Find easy answers for the kid. Don't make him have to go out there and do all the heavy lifting and try to facilitate the game to fit his skill set.
I think that's what's the most encouraging, though, about what I was saying, though, is I believe there was easy answers for all those guys.
Yep.
So.
And that's what was encouraging about DTR. He was taking them. He was like, oh, that's there. I'm not out here trying to play hero ball. I'm just going to take what you're giving me. And there's enough there that it's enough to get down the field. Yeah. Yep.
We'll see. It's interesting. 49ers were willing to trade Brandon Aiyuk if they could get a top flight wide receiver to replace him. They offered a 3rd round pick to Denver for Cortland. They offered a 3rd round pick to Denver for Cortland Sutton and then would have dealt Aiyuk to the Steelers, but the Broncos declined the offer. Per Diana Rossini. Way to go, Broncos. Shut that shit down. You ain't going to Pittsburgh, boy. He didn't want to go there anyways. He wanted to be right where he's at.
The whole time it felt like they just called his bluff.
They wanted
like, oh, you requesting a trade? Okay. Put a package together.
Why did they go through all this? Just to give him the $30 million that he wanted from the beginning.
Yeah. I don't know.
Why? What a waste of everybody's goddamn time.
I'm so fucking thankful it's over, Brad. It was exhausting. I'm glad we were out of it earlier because that's a player that I wanted for sure. It was on here pleading months and months ago. This is a guy we should be looking at if they can't get a deal done. And then we got in it and it was like, man, this is a lot.
But what is Lynch doing? What principle was he standing on if you're now here and you just gave in to exactly what he wanted?
I don't know.
What were you standing on for the last 3-4 months? What was the purpose of all of that posturing from both sides if you were just going to give him a deal for $30 million?
Yeah.
He only asked for 28 before the
and that was too much then.
Draft.
If you'd have just done that, none of this happens. Instead, you held on, made a circus out of the event, and then you end up paying them. And you lost your leverage along the way. There was like a lot of missteps here. A lot of missteps.
Total madness. I don't understand what the purpose of that was for San Francisco if they were just going to come around and give him this deal.
I don't know. I think posturing for power and thinking like, oh, that's what I'm not giving into these demands. And then you end up having to exceed them. I don't know. And then you draft a receiver in the first round. Like to show him you mean business. And it's like, do you though? Do you really mean business?
But I mean, they could, I don't get it because.
And you're burying the lead this whole time. They should have been more focused on Trent Williams.
Yeah.
That's what they should have been. They could have got by without Aiyuk. And they can't get by without their left tackle.
They gave him 4 for 120, right?
Yes. That's what the number I read.
They could have given.
I read that it was front loaded. I don't know. I didn't see the details, but I read that it was a front loaded contract.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, 8, 10. Hold on 1 second. I'm doing some quick math.
Carry the 2.
Yeah. So you could have gone. You could have gone 4 for 105 before the draft and had him signed.
Mm-hmm. Cost you $25 million to play this fuck game.
26 and a half would have gotten it done then because 4 teams came to the table with 26 before the draft and they were like they didn't like the compensation they were getting back and they told them to go away.
Yeah.
Months later, it was 32. because the market moved that quickly.
Yep.
And then now they give him a deal for 30, 76 guaranteed. I mean, grow some balls, Lynch. Like, what are you doing? I don't know, man. That's where I'm at.
I'm just happy it's over, man. I don't have to hear
George
about it
Costanza negotiation. Yeah. Like, I just don't. It just seems so pointless now, doesn't it?
No, yeah, completely. You costed yourself money and time. The time you costed yourself where you could be getting better, you spent
reputation,
just
all of it.
Yeah.
Let me take 3 months of time, reputation, practice reps. Let's throw it all away. Bumble this all up, make a huge national mess out of it.
Cost herself $25 million in the process.
And then we'll just give him what he wanted.
Meanwhile, we don't have a left tackle. He's still holding out.
He's still out. Insanity, bro. Insanity. All right, let's get out of here. Let's do it. Casey Kinnamon, excellent job tonight as we, surface level Cowboys stuff, roster taking shape as we proceed into game week, ladies and gentlemen. It is here. It is time. You better be locked in. It's just keep it locked on the OBR. Everything Cowboys breaking things down. Week 1, it's finally here. I didn't even think of this. Our show's next Thursday. The NFL kicks off next Thursday.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That'd be fun. Join us on kickoff night, an NFL kickoff season. Join us back here next week at this time. Just like MC said, hit like and subscribe. As always, just takes a second of your time and it helps us out tremendously. We appreciate your viewership, your passion for the Browns, your passion and love for the one and only Jim Donovan. Thoughts and prayers out to him tonight and for the foreseeable future as he undergoes that battle. But, we all got his back and that's important. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. Game week, baby. We're there. We're there. The next time we'll talk, we'll be there. Keep it locked on the OBR for 24/7 coverage. The best coverage in town for your Cleveland Browns. That rhymed. Wow. For Casey Kinnamon, my name is Brad Ward. We are out.